Hi students, welcome to online class. In this video, we are going to discuss about chapter 14, classes and objects. Now we are going to see the invocation of constructors. Invocation means how to invoke the constructor, that is how to call the constructor. Say here the constructor can be invoked, that is parameterized constructor. We are discussing about only the parameterized constructor. The default constructor is automatically executed. You want to keep it in mind, the default constructor, that is the constructor without parameter, is executed in an automatic manner. But the parameterized constructor is invoked in two different methods. So that is what we are going to see here, invocation of constructors. The constructor can be invoked by two ways. First one is implicit call. Then second method is explicit call. First of all, we are going to discuss about implicit call. In this method, the parameterized constructor is invoked automatically whenever an object is created. See, in the implicit call, the parameterized constructor is invoked in an automatic manner. That is, whenever we are passing the parameter, then automatically the parameterized constructor is invoked. See the example here. For example, simple S1. Simple S1 10, 20. So in this example, simple is the class name and S1 is the object. Simple is the class name, S1 is the object. 10, 20 are the two values which are passed for the parameterized constructor. Can you understand, students? S1 is the object which was created for the class simple. S1 is the object which was created for the class simple. For the S1 object, we are passing the two parameters 10, 20. So 10, 20 are the two values which are passed to the parameterized constructor. Can you understand, students? So this particular line will invoke the parameterized constructor. This particular line will invoke the parameterized constructor in an automatic manner. So this is implicit call. Now we are going to see the second invocation, that is explicit call. How the explicit call is done? In this method, the name of the constructor is explicitly given. The name of the constructor is explicitly given to invoke the parameterized constructor, so that the object can be created and it can be initialized. See, in the first method, simple S1 10, 20. Simple S1 10, 20. In that particular method, we are creating the object and then we are passing the parameter. That's all. But here, in explicit call, we are creating the object and then we are initializing the values for the object. See here in this example. In this example, simple S1 equal to. So here simple S1, simple is the class name, S1 is the object. Simple is the class name, S1 is the object. Then we are assigning simple S1 equal to simple 10, 20. Simple S1 equal to simple 10, 20. Here 10, 20 are the two values. 10, 20 are the two values which are assigned for the S1 object. 10, 20 are the two values which are assigned for the S1 object. So here the S1 object is created and then it is initialized. Can you understand, students? In this method, the name of the constructor is explicitly given and then we are invoking the parameterized constructor. So here the object is given, that is object is created for the class, and then here we are passing the values to that particular function. So object is created and initialized. Can you understand, students? So now we are going to see the explicit call method, that is why it is suitable. Why we are using the explicit call method? See, explicit call method is suitable as it creates temporary object. So whenever we are using this particular method, it creates the temporary object and then there is no chance for data loss. The data loss will not be there when we use the explicit call method because it creates a temporary object. So the temporary object lives in the memory as long as it is being used in an expression. So whenever the object is initialized, whenever the temporary object is initialized, like we see in the previous example, simple S1 equal to simple 10, 20. Here the object is created and initialized. So here the object S1 is a temporary object. Here the object S1 is a temporary object. So it lives in the memory as long it is used in the expression. After that it gets destroyed. Can you understand, students? After that it gets destroyed because the object is created in a temporary manner. Can you understand, students? So now we are going to see the next topic, dynamic initialization of objects. We already discussed about the term dynamic initialization. What is meant by dynamic initialization? Whenever the initial values are given at the runtime, then that is called dynamic initialization. Can you understand, students? Whenever the initial values are given at the runtime, then that is called dynamic initialization. Here what we are going to do is, we are going to initialize the object's values. We are going to give the values for the object. We can say like that. We are going to give the values for the object in a dynamic manner, that is at the runtime. The object's values are given at the runtime. It is not given at the compile time. So that is what we are going to discuss as dynamic initialization of objects. Can you understand, students? Again I repeat, what is meant by dynamic initialization means the values will be given at the runtime. So the user will give the value. Whenever we are creating the program, we are not going to give the value. Whenever we are creating the program, we are not going to give the value. Whenever we are running the program, some other user will give the values. The user will give the values. So then that is called dynamic initialization. Here we are going to discuss the topic dynamic initialization of objects. That means the values for the object. The values for the object will be given at the runtime. The values for the objects will be given at the runtime. So then that is called dynamic initialization. Now we can see here. Let us see the program. So here I am going to copy the program. I am going to explain in a practical manner. So you know how to start Dev C++. So click on the start menu, Dev C++. After opening Dev C++, Control plus N, then Control plus V. So after pasting the program, so the space is not left out in a correct manner. So I am leaving the space. So after leaving the space, we want to save the program. So here I am leaving the space in all the places. So you know very well how to save the program, students. Can anybody say? So what is the keyboard shortcut for saving? As Control plus S is the keyboard shortcut. So Control plus S. So dynamic initialization of objects. After saving the program, when I press F11, so before that I will explain the program. Here you see what is the class name. X is the class name, but see here it is not small x. It is given as capital X. Here you want to note it down. Don't try to use the capital letters, but whenever we use the capital letters, that is uppercase, we should follow the uppercase till the end of the program. That particular name should be given only in uppercase in all the places, because in one place I have given the name as capital letter, that is uppercase. So I should follow in all the places till the end of the program. So try to avoid uppercase, but if you are giving capital X, you should follow in all the places. So X is the class name, then int n float average. Int n float average. So n is a data member, average is also a data member that comes under private. N and average comes under private. Then in public, X. So this is a constructor. This is the constructor. So it contains parameters. So it is parameterized constructor. We can understand that is a parameterized constructor. So int p float q. Int p float q. Then n is assigned to p. Average is assigned to, p is assigned to n. Q is assigned to average. P is assigned to n. Q is assigned to average. Then void disp. Disp is a member function. So display member function. We are going to display roll number and average. We are going to display roll number and average. So class is terminated. So class contains two data members, n and average, and then two member function. One is a parameterized constructor. X is a parameterized constructor. Then another member function display, that is an ordinary member function. So roll number and average is displayed. Then class is terminated. So int main. Int main, we are declaring two variables, int a, float b. Int a, float b. Now you see here, in this place, enter the roll number. We are getting the input for a. Enter the average. We are getting the input for b. So here, the input is received from the user. The input is received from the user. The input is received from the user. Here you see in this line, we are creating the object. X is the class name. X is the class name. Then small x is the object. X is the class name. Then another x, small x, represents the object name. We are passing AB. So there is no value for AB. But the values are received from the user. We did not assign any value for AB. The values are received from the user. Whenever the values are received from the user, that is at runtime, then that is called dynamic initialization. And then we are calling the disp function. So when I press F11, we are asking to enter the roll number. So I am entering 1001. Average is 95. So 1001.95. I can give floating point value. There is no problem. So 12, 102, 101. I can give 88.95. So that is also floating point value. So I can give floating values, no problem. Because I declared B as float B. So can you understand, students? So the roll number, enter the roll number 1201, enter the average 98.6. So I hope you might have understood this video. What are the two methods are there for invoking the constructor? And then we discussed about the dynamic initialization of objects. So I hope you might have understood this video. So let's end the class. So thank you, students.